Yeah. Sorry, my hair is always at my face. But very good evening. You're watching India Today Social Media. I'm Nabila Jamal. Let me give you the roundup of the day's news. So today, what mostly captured headlines was Sanjay Raut, who is the Shiv Sena MP, who has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. He was moved to get a health checkup done, and then post that went to the PMLA court, and right there the court has granted the Enforcement Directorate custody of Sanjay Raut for up to 4th of August. This is the date that the ED will have custody of Sanjay Raut. Now, post that, will Sanjay Raut be relieved? That is a question, of course, the ED will answer once they complete investigation. Post 4th of August, they'll give out an understanding on whether they need his custody, a prolonged custody, or will this will they be relieving him post 4th of August. So Sanjay Raut has been accused of being the central, the point, or the man right in the center of this huge scam, the land scam called the Patra Chawl land scam, where we're talking about 1,034 crores money that was swindled around, money laundering that happened with most of that money. Now, obviously, the ED now trying to understand on how money was laundered and who exactly were the key players in this scam. Sanjay Raut is said to be one of the key players, that he used all his powers and indirectly through his friend Praveen Rawat pulled off this big, massive scam. Now, one would ask, what exactly is Sanjay Raut's mistake here, or what is his crime really? So Praveen Rawat is the man. Praveen Rawat is a friend of Sanjay Raut. Praveen Rawat basically has been arrested already by the Enforcement Directorate last December, where he, in fact, a chawl in Mumbai called the Patra Chawl, they wanted to redevelop that chawl since it was old and it had to be redone, and all those chawl owners, the house owners in that chawl, were promised that the builder will build new apartments, and all those apartments will be handed over to all those local residents who have papers at the Patra Chawl, their ownership, if they prove their ownership there in Patra Chawl, which was already done. That was established. There were 647 families living in that chawl. 647 families needed to get those apartments. So at that land, Patra Chawl land, about 3,000 odd apartments were supposed to be built. Out of 3,000, 647 had to go to the original owners of that Patra Chawl. None of those apartments, basically that project never got completed. None of those apartments went to the Patra Chawl landowners, and they were forced to move out of that place because it had to be redeveloped. So they packed their bags and moved away, being in hope that they'll come back to a new apartment, a more refurbished or more modern, developed housing complex. So they moved out, and then they never got to see that that apartment itself never saw the light of day. So at least 647 families are aggrieved. Is Sanjay Raut, the Sena MP, really involved in this case? Because if he is, then he's gone he's in prison for a long haul. That's what's expected. And the ED today, we believe, as they have asked for his arrest, they've quoted a couple of reasons as the grounds for his arrest. They've said that Sanjay Raut has not been cooperative. He has not been really giving out answers as to what links he has with Praveen Rawat, why Praveen Rawat apparently, or allegedly, Praveen Rawat's wife had loaned almost 83 lakhs to Sanjay Raut's wife. What exactly was that connection there? Why was that loan given? And we hear that out of that money of 83 odd lakhs, that money was spent to buy an apartment in Dadar, which Sanjay Raut bought in Dadar. Now, what exactly was that money loaned for, and why eventually that apartment was bought? That apartment is now attached by the Enforcement Directorate. So these are the links where loan has been given to Sanjay Raut's wife. There's no connection to Praveen Rawat and Sanjay Raut in this entire redevelopment of Patra Chawl, but yet money was transferred. And then there's a lot of talk about other transactions between Praveen Rawat and Sanjay Raut through various other elements or stakeholders in this case, in this redevelopment project. So the ED is not able to put its finger on where exactly Sanjay Raut has involved himself in this entire scam, but they're also not getting answers to why that money was given from Praveen Rawat to Sanjay Raut. So there's a lot of discrepancies when it comes to the money and transaction trail, which the ED very strongly believes that Sanjay Raut itself is the man who has facilitated this through his powers within the government. He had great, he holds great clout within the Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena has been in power at one point. So they truly believe, ED truly believes that Sanjay Raut has got enough backing from all his political biggies around him, and he's managed to pull off a huge scam without his name coming to fore. But these are the loopholes there, that money given from Praveen Rawat's wife to Sanjay Raut's wife, and a couple of other, transactions that were not justified by Sanjay Raut, really highlights that indeed Sanjay Raut could have a huge role to play in this scam. Now, while the ED says that there's enough evidence to show that he facilitated Praveen Rawat to pull off the scam, that there is links with the main accused in the crime, Praveen Rawat. While ED says that, Sanjay Raut, on the contrary, has been defiant. He's been flexing his muscle, waving at the cameras every time he's in and out of the ED office. And the moment he sees the cameras and he wants to speak, and he's speaking only on the same lines. This is vendetta. I'm being targeted. They are pressurizing me to move to the Eknath Shinde camp or switch my allegiance. I will not do it. I am fully loyal to Uddhav Thackeray's Sena. Loyal to Bal Thackeray and then loyal to Uddhav Thackeray. So there's no way that the Shinde camp or the BJP can muscle me down. I will not bend, buckle or bow down. More or less precisely what Sanjay Raut has said while he was taken away by the Enforcement Directorate. So he really believes strongly, and even the Uddhav Thackeray camp believes very strongly, that Sanjay Raut is innocent and this is vendetta politics. But we're talking about money to the tune of 1,034 crores. I mean, if anything, the ED must investigate whether this is vendetta politics or not. Let's leave all the politics aside of it. But the fact that this scam is so huge, and there are 647 aggrieved families, Marathi families, who have not got their homes, this must be followed up. Undoubtedly, the criminals or the accused here should be brought to book, even if it's Sanjay Raut. But, at this point, we see that Sanjay Raut's family very upset and aggrieved. Uddhav Thackeray went to meet his family members. They consoled them, saying that they're going to stand with them firmly, and they need not worry, they will ensure Sanjay Raut's out. But, you're looking at a trend here. Mahavikas Aghadi leaders, starting with Anil Deshmukh. He's behind bars. He was the Home Minister of Maharashtra under the Mahavikas Aghadi. He's behind bars on corruption allegations. Then you had Nawab Malik, who again is behind bars. He's part of the NCP, behind bars owing to his dealings with Dawood gang. And then now you have Sena's Sanjay Raut. Again, inside, he's with ED now. ED has got his custody over allegations of corruption and money laundering. So none of these leaders, at least Anil Deshmukh and Nawab Malik, have not got bail. It's been over few months now, a good few months now, they're languishing. But Sanjay Raut, will he manage to pull his clout and set himself free? That remains to be seen. But from the trend and the past instances, it looks very unlikely that he's going to come out anytime soon. All right, so that said, let me quickly shift our focus here to this whole campaign that's blown up on Twitter, asking to boycott Aamir Khan's film Lal Singh Chadda. Now, you may ask, why are people on Twitter asking to boycott Lal Singh Chadda? It's basically because of something that Aamir Khan said almost 5 years ago, 7 years ago, close to 7 years, 2015 is when Aamir Khan made a statement while he was at this awards ceremony in India. He was talking about how he feels about the country, and that he feels that India is seeing growing intolerance. That's what he said. He says that my wife and I sometimes worry if we should stay back here or should we move out for the safety of our child. That India is becoming intolerant by the day, and that's worrying to him. This is in 2015. This is a statement he made possibly just a year after the Modi government came to power. So Aamir Khan received huge backlash. He came around to justify that, I did not mean to say what I did not mean exactly what you perceived it to be. I love my country. I am a total a nationalist. I have all the regards. The country has given me everything. I owe this country for all the success and love I've got. All that said, I do truly believe that sometimes the minorities are slightly threatened today. They feel, he says, I feel slightly more threatened as I feel that the minority community in the country may be slightly pushed to the edge with the kind of rhetoric in the recent past. That's what he said back in 2015. He came back to clarify also when he got a lot of backlash, etc. So today, post that experience, we see that Aamir Khan, whatever he does, any film that he releases or any ad he does or any work of art that he puts out there gets severely trolled and pulled up only because of the comment he made in 2015. The irony is, politicians in the country make all sorts of comments and they get away with it. If you hold politicians accountable for what they've said 5 years ago, one can only wonder where we would be today. Or, can we ever hold a politician responsible for what he said even 1 year ago? They come around to change their statement every single day. And unfortunately, for a person like Aamir Khan, who's an actor, who's an artist, for him to be deserving this kind of backlash, where people are holding his 2015 tweet accountable, saying that we are not going to watch your film, you're a traitor, you're anti-national, etc., etc., is slightly worrisome, because in a democracy, if you're not allowed to say what you want to say, then it's not a democracy. If you're not allowed to question your leaders, if you're not allowed to speak of your own safety and security, if you feel threatened, if you're not allowed to say what you feel, that itself is not democracy. So if people ask, why should Aamir Khan say what he said? Because he holds responsibility, he's a famous person, whatever he says will have a bearing on the people in the nation. It will influence the people of the nation, and it will also send out an image of the nation globally, because Aamir Khan has a global audience, etc. But in my view, I feel that there are several more pressing issues that the country should be worried of. Be it the rupee right now, how strong is our rupee? How developed are we as a country? What is the quality of life that we are living in the country today? How expensive is it for us to get past our daily life today? You are paying through your nose when it comes to fuel and basic essentials today. That really, to me, is defining our country. Not what Aamir Khan said about his safety. He may have said what he said, but does that really define a country? Does that really change the perception of India anywhere, globally or locally? I highly doubt it. But it seems like this whole campaign against Aamir Khan, saying boycott Aamir Khan, boycott his films, slightly too heavy on him at this point, in my view. But Aamir Khan today, why it's come up in conversation is because while Aamir Khan was talking to a section of the media while he was promoting his film Lal Singh Chadda, he was directly asked by the media journalists there on what he feels about this trending hashtag that says boycott Lal Singh Chadda, and he says, I feel very sad. Beg your pardon? He says, I feel very sad and I'm very hurt. And what hurts me more is that people who write those things on social media truly believe that I dislike India. But that's not true at all. I love my country, and I truly love my country, and I owe the country all the success and all the love I've got. So, what people say on social media does hurt me, and I only would like to request them and plead them, do not boycott Lal Singh Chadda. Please watch my film. That's more or less what he said in a summary of what was asked to him. But, this kind of backlash that an actor receives for speaking in his mind, even Shah Rukh Khan for that matter, when he spoke his mind on various platforms, he got huge backlash, and even till date, those comments that he made in the past haunts him. But at the end of it, what's a democracy if you are not able to speak your mind? Whatever religion you belong to, you're all citizens of India. You all have equal rights, and whatever religion you belong to does not really define your status in the country. Your religion does not define your status. Your status is equal across the country. All citizens have equal rights under the Constitution, irrespective of what religion you belong to. So if a Muslim is making a comment, or if a Hindu is making a comment, if it's dislike, if something that you disapprove of, you express your dissent. But this whole cancel culture, boycotting people, raising campaigns against them, that's not democracy in my view. You should be allowed to say what you want, but really hurting someone in business and boycotting them and stuff like that is a bit too much. And of course, violence as well. Any kind of violence is condemnable. Any kind of boycott, if when you say boycott Lal Singh Chadda, you're also talking about boycotting an entire a film production unit which has worked really hard in making a film, spending that money, putting all that effort and all that goes into making one film. You're really trampling upon all of their ambitions, their earnings that come out of that film, and just dampening the spirit around it, which is unfortunate. So if you disagree with what Aamir Khan said, it's a great place to debate, because again, we're in a democracy. You're allowed to disapprove, you're allowed to debate and refute, but to boycott and to constantly target a person, not something that I would want to see in an India that I call my country. All right, that's that. Karnataka, finally, as I wrap here, we are looking at another person, another player in the CM's race, S.R. Patil, who's looked at as a Lingayat face. Now, Congress party, while it has all prominent communities that support the Congress party in Karnataka, I'm talking about Karnataka per se because Congress in Karnataka seems to have some kind of stronghold in compared to all the other states. They still have quite some relevance within the state of Karnataka. So, in Karnataka, the Congress party is looking for a strong Lingayat face. They have a Vokkaliga face, who is D.K. Shivkumar. They have an OBC face, that is Siddaramaiah. They have ST face, which is Satish Jarkioli. They have a minorities face, which is Salim Ahmed. They have, they're really looking for a strong Lingayat face, which so far the strongest Lingayat face in Karnataka as a whole is B.S. Yediyurappa. B.S. Yediyurappa now, almost a forceful exit it was for B.S. Yediyurappa by the BJP High Command. He almost now has stepped aside from active politics. He's also declared that he won't contest any longer. So the Vokkaliga community is slightly hurt with B.S. Yediyurappa's exit. So you never know, Lingayat community, which all along supported the BJP, may just shift their allegiance. This time the Congress is trying to cash in on the Lingayat vote bank. So they're trying to field a strong face or project a strong face for one of the senior categories in the party, senior posts. But will it be the CM's post? Because you have D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, they're running for the Chief Minister. Both of them are making their ambitions clear. Now today what was surprising was Veerappa Moily, a very strong senior Congress leader, former CM, came out to say that he would like to see, he didn't say would like to see, he says S.R. Patil is a fitting CM candidate, that he's strong, he's a great leader, he's got great understanding of the system, and therefore S.R. Patil, who's a Lingayat face, is a great candidate for CM. Now, obviously, this will raise a lot of speculation that, oh wow, Congress does not have a face as yet, and they don't, they're now internally bickering over who's going to be the next CM face. But, Congress, as far as I've heard, are trying to project a united front. They're not really particularly appeasing to any one community or any one area. They're trying to bring together all castes and communities. That's precisely what we've seen in the kind of organization and the hierarchy where we see all kinds of people who are in, like for example, like I did mention, all the castes have been catered to. D.K. Shivkumar is Lingayat, OBC is Siddaramaiah, you also have Salim Ahmed for minorities, and you also have Satish Jarkioli for ST. So they have all communities they want to cater to, all castes as well. So they don't want to particularly target one, appease one particular community, as opposed to the BJP we know has been constantly appeasing the Hindus at large. All Hindus of all categories of Hindus that they're trying to appeal to, whereas the Congress, they're looking at trying to bring together everyone. Basically, bring together, what I mean is trying to appease everyone at the same time. They're not singling out a certain community only. So that said, will the Congress really go with S.R. Patil? Because S.R. Patil is not a mass leader. He may be a strong Lingayat face, but he's not a man who's who's got that kind of support and following even in North Karnataka. That's where they want a strong face, but S.R. Patil doesn't seem to be fitting in all that roles. He's also 74 years old, a little too old for this for the CM's post at this time. So S.R. Patil against D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, it seems like he'll fall flat, because there's also Lingayat face, M.B. Patil, who's a more popular leader from North Karnataka, which the Congress may consider. But right now it seems like the fight is certainly